Majority of Turo hosts will be out of the business within the first year. Not because the car rental business doesn't work. I'm standing on a collection full of proof that it does. They go broke because the internet sold them a lie that you buy a car, you put it on an app, and the app pays for the car while you sleep. That's not a business, that's a countdown, and the countdown looks exactly the same for almost every host that fails. I like to call it the death spiral, and it's 4 steps. Step 1, they buy the car at retail, full sticker, full interest rate, sometimes negative equity rolled in from a trade. The deal is already dead and they don't know it yet. Step 2 is they've got nowhere to put it. So they're paying out of pocket for parking, for storage, for garaging, you name it, a cost that hits every single month, whether the car rents or not. Step number 3 is that 100% of their bookings come from one place, and that place is the Turo algorithm. They don't have customers, Turo has customers, and Turo lets you borrow their customers, right? And step 4, because every other host in their city is in the exact same trap, the only lever that anyone has left now when it comes to Turo is price. So they cut the daily rate to get seen, the next guy cuts his, it's called a race to the bottom, and the bottom is below the monthly payment, at least when you factor in maintenance and all other expenses, right? Then you've got retail price, parking overhead. You've got one channel, falling rates. That's a death spiral. Most hosts are in all 4 stages at once without realizing a single one of them is optional. In this video, I'm gonna show you the real math of why that model bankrupts people. And then I'm gonna show you the model that we're building right now that removes every one of these 4 steps. So let's start with the math, because once you see one bad week on paper, you're gonna understand everything. There's a lot of people on Turo that think they need to buy a new car because they think that Turo will put their car at a higher ranking in the algorithm if they have a newer car. Now, I do believe that to some extent this is true, but financially the returns don't make sense. So a lot of people will buy one car at retail. Sometimes I've seen people literally take out a loan for a Ford Explorer, for example. The car is like $45,000 brand new. The monthly payment on that is like $1,000 a month. People go for bad interest rate. They just don't understand the unit economics when it comes to this vehicle. Then add in full coverage insurance. If you're using something off-trip commercial like Roamly, that's gonna be another $120. That's $1,120. Now, if you need to park or store the vehicle, maybe you live in an apartment complex that has parking permits and it's another $50 a month. Now we're talking pretty much $1,200 a month before the car even gets rented in one single booking. Now we can run through a bad week, right? Maybe the car sits unrented for 1 week completely, it's still gonna hit your bank account. The loan doesn't pause, the insurance is not gonna pause. If you're paying for parking, that's not gonna pause either. So your per week bleed number on that vehicle, you're at least gonna have to come up with at least $300. That is your per week bleed number on this particular vehicle, for example. And now one slow week doesn't just mean zero profit, it means the host now needs the next 3 weeks to perform above average just to get back to zero. And most hosts never do the math in that direction, which is why failure surprises them in the end. And that combined with the death spiral and all the other factors that are stacked against you when it comes to a Turo only business, it's just not a way to operate. Then when the host panics, the only move that they have left, especially with all the changes that Turo has been making, which is a lot, pretty much every other week or every month, there's a new change coming to Turo. The only thing that hosts have left now is to drop the price, which means even their book days now barely cover the bleed, booked and broke. And that's the math when Turo's working for you. Now let me show you what happens when Turo simply changes its mind. A 100% Turo business has one structural flaw that no pricing strategy can ever fix, and that is that everything that matters is controlled by someone else. If Turo changes the algorithm, your visibility can disappear overnight. You did nothing wrong, you just got reshuffled. And if Turo changes the host split, the fee structure, their mandatory discounts, their mileage restrictions, your margin is going to disappear overnight and you have absolutely no say in it. Also, people are getting their Turo accounts banned, probably because they're going against terms of service, but terms of service has a lot of fine print that you may not read, and you might get banned for something you didn't even know you were doing wrong. So your account gets banned and the entire business is gonna go to zero in literally just one email. No shrinks. That's literally from 100 to 0, and the cars are still gonna be in your driveway. The payments are still due and the customers are gone. So a business with one channel is not a business. It's literally just an account on a platform. And this is in theory. Before this law, I built the rental operation to $150,000 per month before I exited. So I know what the math looks like when this works at scale, and I know which of these mistakes will kill it overnight because I've made half of them myself very early on. So if relying on the app is the trap, then what's the alternative? It's what we're building, and it runs on 2 channels instead of 1. Also, if you're sitting there watching, thinking that I wanna build a model that doesn't just rely on Turo and create a 2-channel model, but I don't want to figure out the math and the deals by myself, I open up a small number of one-on-one strategy calls where we can map out out the 2-channel model for your specific market and budget, and that's gonna be with the first link in the description. Now, I wanna make it clear that Turo is not the enemy, and this is not an anti-Turo video. I still use Turo today. I think it is great for some aspects, but at the end of the day, it's a tool and it's excellent at one thing, and that's capturing demand during seasonal peaks, weekends, holidays, and travel surges. The mistake is not Turo. The mistake is making Turo your entire business, quitting your job, and then putting your livelihood dependent on one platform. Because the reality of it is, Turo can actually put you to financial freedom. It can make you build your own business, can make you significant income, and you indeed can probably quit your job and make more money doing Turo alone. But if you're relying on Turo, you're really relying on one platform to keep it all together, and that's very, very dangerous. So what would be the second channel? The second channel that we're talking about, Turo being channel number 1, channel number 2 being a channel that you own. The whole game is owning one relationship that produces a person who needs a car right now, a person that the algorithm never touched. That's it. That's your defense against Turo. Everything after this is just examples of that one idea. So here's the thing. The warmest rental leads that exist is someone standing right in front of you, keys in hand, with a verified reason that they need a car today. Their car might be in the shop, their car got hit, it has an issue, the loaner car fell through, Enterprise or Hertz are closed or out of inventory, and that person isn't price shopping a search results page. They need a car and you have a car. There's no platform fee, no algorithm deciding if you get seen or not, no race to the bottom because there is no search results page to compete against now. Maybe you're competing with the big boys, but the big boys, people hate them. And so there's plenty of reasons people want to rent from you, especially when it comes to convenience in a place like a body or mechanic shop. And now this is doable before you do anything, right? So in my current operation, yes, my new lot is on a lot where there's a mechanic shop and my business partner owns a shop, which makes it super, super easy for us to find clientele as well as managing rentals out of a lot that has a lot of infrastructure where we control costs. But you can totally do this before you own anything, because guess why? I did this before I owned anything, right? So we need to work with body shops, collision centers, mechanic shops. The customers' cars in these places are down for weeks, sometimes months, and sometimes insurance is even paying for their rental. That's gonna be multi-week bookings handed to you at local dealerships that don't offer loaner cars. The best part is a lot of these people already have full coverage insurance, making the transition to private rentals really easy because they have coverage that will transfer over. Now you will need to know how to verify that coverage and put it under contract, but that's a fairly simple thing to learn. So their service customer needs a car, they have nowhere to send them, you're the answer. You don't even have to give a kickback to the mechanic or the body shop necessarily, because it's gonna be such a big benefit for them to just have your service where they can just pull up, drop off their car, and pull off in one of yours. Just thinking off the top of my head, maybe you can even create one relationship with one insurance adjuster from some insurance company who's gonna send you people whose cars just got totaled, and it could work in the adjuster's favor because maybe you can have a set rate that they know that they can work with and they're not getting overcharged. So you don't need a fleet to make these types of calls. You just need one car, one relationship, and most hosts have that car and they have absolutely no other relationships outside of Turo, which is completely backwards. The way I run this at scale is the operation lives inside of a working mechanic shop, so the lead flow again is already built in. People drop a car off for a major repair and they need something to drive that same day, and that's my version. And you don't need a shop to start that. I want to reiterate that because I'm just showing you the ceiling so you know where this can go for you. The floor is literally just one phone call away to a body shop down the road from you, or a mechanic shop that could literally be on the same block or just down the street from you. So how do you prevent from that death spiral? You just tell the shop, hey, I've got plenty of inventory. I know you have people that need vehicles, so let me offer my vehicles for rent. I will make sure that when they arrive to drop off their car, they can already have a rental pre-booked, making it super, super convenient for your customers, giving you a competitive advantage because now customers aren't worrying about Ubering or finding another rental car, because at the end of the day, yes, they're worried about getting their car fixed, but they're also worried about how they're going to pick up their kids from school, how they're going to get to work. And trust me, any body shop or mechanic shop that I've introduced this to, that I've done business with before partnering with my own, has loved the idea, and they always say, bring me please a fat stack of cards. We hate Enterprise showing up to drop off cars. Guys are showing up from Enterprise, stains on their shirt, car smelling like a hot box, and you can just provide a much more premium and specialized service. Over time, that's going to unlock your freedom, and your dependency from Turo is going to go away, so you can still build that dream of why you got into this business in the first place, rather than feeling like you're being destroyed by a platform that gave you maybe what you once wanted or is giving you a little taste of freedom now. And you're not gonna have to worry about that because you have your own channel to actually start diversifying from that death spiral of lowering your prices and really just bending over backwards for Turo and relying on them. Now, I do want to be clear that these compound as you grow. They're not entry requirements. And in my case, in a case which you may get to and people in my program have actually gotten to, is that an owned operating location is going to delete parking and storage bleed because the cars live where the business is already happening. Now, once you start to build these relationships, because when I partnered with this mechanic shop, before we partnered up as official business partners in the rental business, all I was doing was bringing my cars and renting to his clients. Eventually he saw the benefit. He's like, hey, let's partner up. Now, all of my maintenance is handled in-house or through a shop relationship that structurally discounts the biggest variable costs in this business. So whether I was partnered up with this shop, controlling the cost and controlling the time, the turnaround, or in the past when I was just bringing bulk business and supplying cars to a mechanic shop's customers, it dramatically decreased our costs and it decreased the time that the car is sitting in the shop, which sometimes can be the biggest loss that you'll ever take, because when the car is sitting in the shop, it could be losing you thousands and thousands of dollars when it's not out on the road. And that is the biggest variable cost in this business. If you can control downtime and you can control cost when it comes to body shop repairs as well as mechanical repairs. And the next part of the death spiral is having cars that are acquired through a shop or a dealer network instead of a retail lot, because this starts deleting having to purchase cars at retail price. So in my current situation, there also happens to be a car dealership on the same lot, and that lot is owned by my business partner. So we're able to get cars essentially at cost, and you can create these kinds of relationships on your own. Again, these are compounding effects that just take time as you start to network, but I'm just giving you a glimpse of what's actually possible rather than just buy a car, put it on Turo, and be relying on that platform. Cash flow stability in this business does not come from a pricing hack or a better listing photo. It's going to come from relationships with local businesses, mechanics, body shops, dealerships, and anybody who has customers that suddenly need a car. Every one of those relationships is a booking channel that no algorithm can take from you, and you can start building today with one car, which is the whole point, because we want to make sure that with one car, we're not quitting this business. We're still going to be working on our dreams, and you're not going to be part of that huge percentage of people that quit or fail because all they did was buy a car, put it on Turo, and think that that's the answer. The customers, the visibility, the pricing power, all of it is going to belong to Turo. The model that survives is the one where you own at least one of the channels outright, and owning a channel doesn't mean building what I built. It means making the first call that most hosts never make. And that is why most Turo hosts don't survive their first year in business. Retail cars, they have to pay for parking, one algorithm, and a price war that they just simply cannot win. Every single one of those is a choice, and now you've seen the alternative, because you just watched me lay out the exact model that we're building right now, and I'm gonna keep building it in front of you on this channel. So the cars, the numbers, the deals with the shops, what works, what blows up in my face, all of it's gonna be on this channel. So subscribe if you wanna see this business from the inside, restarting from previously doing $150,000 a month. Now, if you watch this whole video and you're thinking, this is the model that I wanna build in my city, then do what I mentioned earlier. Click the first link in the description, book that one-on-one strategy call with me. On that call, we're gonna go through your market, your budget, your numbers, map out your version of the 2-channel model so that you can skip the death spiral entirely instead of learning it the expensive way like most hosts and myself have done. And I'll be straight with you on why the spots are limited. These are real calls with me, not a webinar, so I can only take so many. If the link is live, that means the spot is open. If it's not, I also put a free course in the description that's gonna break down the model step by step. Start there. And one last thing, do not buy a car until you've run the math you saw in this video. The car is the last step, not the first. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next video.